Again, just, it's such an honor and a privilege for Erica and I to be able to meet with you guys and to, share with you guys the knowledge and wisdom that we've gotten from these WillKit leads. Again, thanks for the invite and also the introduction, Mr. Giglione and the Ackerman Agency. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. I loved hearing all the great New York, New Jersey accents when people were talking. I was like, the East Coast, it feels good. So absolutely phenomenal stuff to be on here with you all. And again, just to reiterate, I was the number 5 GA last year internationally, and Erica was actually the number 1 SA in the entire company last year. So she's got the juice and she's got the fire. So I'm just gonna try and keep up with her throughout this whole workshop. So, but we'll just jump straight into it. So you guys are here not to listen to us, but to listen to what we have to teach you guys. So the first thing with WillKits, and I think it's one of the most important things, is you got to have the right mindset for the WillKits. You got to have the right mindset towards the lead. So the first thing that you should do whenever you get a WillKit lead is you should be ecstatic, just jumping for joy. And the reason why is a couple of main things. One, guys, these are people that want to talk about and prepare for the day that they're no longer here. They're applying for a will. That's what a will is they want to talk about and prepare for the day that they're no longer here, and they haven't done that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have requested the will. So that makes it even better of a lead, because they want to talk about what we do. That's what they want to talk about, preparing for the day that they're no longer here. Second thing you should be excited about the WillKit leads, they're bigger sales. They're bigger sales. A senior program is going to cost way more than someone that's in their 20s. So if you make a sale just for one person, is going to be over 1,000 ALP. Now, if you get husband and wife, now we're talking about the real juice. So that's why you should even be more excited, because a sale is going to get you more ALP. What you had to do with 2 sales, you can do in 1 sale. And then me personally, my third thing on why I love them, I think they're easier to talk to. Once you get past that initial, like, what's going on thing, man, in the presentation, I truly believe seniors, the older demographic, are the easiest people to talk to. All you got to do is ask them like 1 question, maybe 2, and they'll talk to you for hours. You can just stem questions on questions on questions on that. I'll give you 2 main things that they love talking about. Their grandkids. So all you got to do is just ask about grandkids, and then you can just stem your questions from there. And then the other thing I love to ask is how they met. If it's a husband and wife, how they met, how long they've been married, stuff like that, and get them to tell me all about who chased who and all that. You ever just think about it like this? You ever, when you were younger, did you ever go to your grandma or your grandpa and just ask them to tell you a story, and next thing you know, it was like 3 hours later? It's the same thing with these WillKits. You got to think about it, the right mindset, right? The older demographic, a lot of times, they're lonely. I hate to use that word, but they don't have a lot of friends that maybe they keep in contact with. Their family maybe only checks in with them on holidays. They're looking for someone just to listen and hang out with them. So I find that once you get past those initial challenges, which we're going to talk about in a second, and you get into that presentation, man, you just start building rapport at the beginning. They're going to love you. They're going to trust you, and they're going to end up listening to you when it comes down to it. The first thing is you got to have the right mindset towards the WillKit leads, because I love them. As soon as we got them March of last year was when we first got our WillKit leads. Oh man, I loved it. I couldn't believe it. I was able to do more senior presentations throughout the day as well. Think about a lot of our union guys, they might be working, so it's hard to get those during the day presentations. Now it's easy to get during the day presentations. So that was the other reason why I love the WillKit leads, is because it gave me more daytime activity. Whether it's door knocking them, making phone calls, doing the presentation, I was able to do more earlier in the day, and I wasn't waiting for just those prime time hours and only having one sit before prime time. So that's the first thing. You got to have the right mindset towards the will kit leads. Now, I'm going to be super transparent. Guys, if you've been in this business longer than a week, you understand that no lead is perfect. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of American Income Life that a lead has been perfect. Where like you call them, where you call them and before you can even say your name, they're like, "You're the life insurance person. We want to buy 3,000 ALP in life insurance. Are you available right now? I have all of my information." I don't think that's ever happened, right? So the challenges that you're going to face with the will kits is a couple of the main ones. And you got to put yourself in the shoes of an older person. They are home a lot, so they get more phone calls. More importantly, older people are targeted for scam. I think there's 2 people not muted, Sheldana and Andrew. If you guys could please mute, that would be great. Thank you. So just know that, right? They're getting more phone calls. They're getting more scams. They're getting more people trying to sell them all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So that you're going to have that initial barrier when you call them. So just make sure you're prepared for that. And again, Erica's going to talk to you guys about making phone calls, but a simple way to get past it is just have great energy. So they are going to be a little bit more difficult initially, but they're going to be way more beneficial once you get past that initial challenge. All right, so the hardest thing about a will kit, just so you guys know, the biggest challenge you're going to face is setting the appointment. It's going to be the biggest challenge you're going to face. Once you get in the presentation, I mean, it's smooth sailing as long as you do the right presentation. All right, so just wanted to make sure you guys understood the mindset, but also were aware of the challenges. Because if you can overcome those initial challenges, you're gonna crush the will kit leads just like the rest of us. So I'll kick it over to Erica to talk about our phone calls for you guys.
All right, thank you so much. Guys, I am so excited to be here with you. There is 275 of you guys on this call, and I am so honored and privileged to be able to talk to you guys about this. I am one of the trainers in our office, and I am really, really big on how amazing the will kits are. So we are going to talk about the phones, because when you are on the phone, that is either going to make or break you getting an appointment. 100%. So the first thing is you need to separate yourself from a telemarketer. And that's going to be the first 2 seconds you get on the phone with that person. If you were like, "Hey, Joe, this is Erica calling about the free will kit you requested. I'm hanging up on you. You are boring. You are so boring. Why are you different than a telemarketer?" You're not. You need to shock them and surprise them with how freaking excited and enthusiastic you are, to the point where they're like, "Who the heck is this on the phone?" So I'm going to be like, "Hey, Joe, how's it going? This is Erica calling about the free will kit that you recently requested online. You remember doing that, right?" You're like, "Yeah, fantastic. How's life treating you during quarantine?" And I'm immediately in that conversation. You have to separate yourself from a telemarketer, because think about how many telemarketing calls you're getting right now. People are screening their calls more than ever. Guys, they're not working, a lot of them. So a lot of them are getting hit with bill collectors, and people that are coming after their money for credit card companies and things. People are screening the calls more than ever. So you have to be the person that separates yourself from everybody else. What that's going to come down to is your energy, your excitement, your tone, and your tempo. And you have to build rapport with these people on the phones. Now listen, if you are brand new here and you still sound like a robot when you're reading the script out loud, this advice isn't for you, because that's the first thing. You got to be able to read fluently out loud. You have to. You can't sound like you're looking at a piece of paper. You cannot sound like you're a robot. You have to sound like you know what you're talking about, because you are the expert. And it starts with having that control over the phone first and foremost. Once you have that control, then you're able to start building rapport in between your sentences. A lot of these will kit people are retired. So as soon as you find out they're retired, ask them what's going on in their life. What are they doing to keep busy? Maybe they just started gardening. "Joe, you got a garden? Oh, what you got planted in that garden? You got some tomatoes? You got some cucumbers?" Well, listen, Joe, I got to tell you, when this quarantine's over, can I swing by? Because let me tell you, They beat grocery stores. They definitely beat grocery stores. I'm gonna need some cucumbers to make a fresh salad this summer. Does that sound good? I mean, like, this girl's trying to eat my cucumbers? Who the heck does she think she is? But that is what they like. And that's what's going to separate you. You have to get them to love you on the phone, because if they don't love you, they are not going to book an appointment with you. So kind of like Tim said, treat them like your grandparent on the phone. Talk to them, care about them, genuinely show interest in their life. Second is in regards to scheduling. Most of these people are going to be retired, but in your script, you still need to ask them, you know, with everything going on in the world right now, are you guys commuting to work? Are you working from home? Are you retired? What's going on? And then you can find out how you can schedule once you do that. If they are retired, you should be booking them 15 minutes to an hour from right now. 100%. Those are the only two options I'm giving them, 15 minutes or an hour from now. Which one's going to work better? Because they're home. What else do they have better to do than get on the phone with you? If they are not retired and they are still working from home or commuting to work, you need to find out their schedule, just like we would do if we were going in-house to see these people. And again, if they get home at 4 or they're done at 4, give them an hour to eat dinner. You know, their top half is probably still in suit, bottom half in sweatpants. Let them put their sweatshirt on and get comfy. Give them like an hour. But you have to solidify, and this is how you're going to solidify. Number 1 is making them write down every single detail about this appointment. I'm having them write it down like 3 times. 1, at the top, Joe and Mary, you're going to write will kit important at the top of that paper. You're going to give them your name. You're going to give them the appointment time. You're going to give them a long confirmation number, and you're going to have them read it all back to you. Your confirmation number should not be 1, 2, 3, 4. They can be bullshitting you and saying they're writing it down and they're not. Sorry if I swore, if that offended anybody, I apologize. We're feeling it right now. All right. So make sure your confirmation number is long enough. So if you ask them to read it back to you and they can't, we know they're lying, right? Make sure they not only stick it up on the fridge, they tell their spouse. Their spouse has to be there. Tell them your spouse is actually more important than you, because they're going to be your executor and they're going to one that's going to be filling out all this information for you if you die. And the next way of solidifying this appointment is getting them on Zoom while you're on the call with them. So I'm going to give you 2 different examples. Number 1, when I'm on the phone with them, I am asking them, do they have a laptop, a tablet, an iPad, or do they just have a phone? Here's the thing. They at least have a smartphone. And here's why. Because where do they fill out this application? On Facebook. Let me tell you, a flip phone is not going to get you to Facebook. So they have technology, guys. They got it. So don't be worried about Cheryl. And Cheryl is 68 years old and she's not good with technology. Don't let Cheryl fool you. She's playing Candy Crush and Farmville, and she's all over Facebook retweeting and doing all these things. So if they have a laptop, an iPad, or a tablet, this is what you got to do. You say, Joe, Mary, whoever you're talking to, I need you to do one quick favor for me. Go grab that laptop real quick. While you are doing that, I am going to create our scheduled meeting and I'm going to send it over to your email. All right, so go grab your laptop. I'm going to start creating the scheduled meeting. So I'm on Zoom. I'm scheduling the meeting. I'm copying the invitation. I get their email. I already have it, and I send it to them. I say, Joe, all right, pull up your email. All right, it's pulled up. Perfect. Do you see an email from me? I do. Perfect. Open it up. All right, do you see a link? It should be blue. It looks like a hyperlink. Yep, I see that. Perfect. You're going to click on it. And guys, guess what? When they click on it, you're going to start your meeting. They're going to go into your meeting. They just got to click open Zoom meetings. Make sure they're connected to audio and video. Just break it down. And then boom, you see their face. Joe, what's up? Hello. You got on the meeting. Guess what? Now you're talking to your grandkids. You can tell them you learned something new today. And you can show them how to do something for once with that technology. All right, Joe, again, you got on the Zoom. We're going to do the exact same thing. in 15 minutes from now. I will see you in 15 minutes. Make sure Mary's on the phone with you. Okay? Now, let's say they just have a smartphone. You have to tell them the first thing is this is going to be very, very simple. Remind them this is going to be very, very simple, because a lot of times older people get a little exhausted with technology. They just like don't want to do it. So you've got to put it in their heads. This is going to be 3 steps. I'm going to walk you through each step. So if they have a smartphone, you got to figure out what kind of phone she has. If it's the iPhone Pro or whatever, they can just swipe up to get off the phone call with you. If it's one of the older iPhones, tell them to hit the home button. If it's an Android, I don't know. I think you just press one of those little buttons to get back to your main screen. I've never used one before. But what you're going to do is make them open up the App Store. And you're going to say, okay, Joe, on this App Store, are you ready? You're going to type ZOOM. All right, click enter. All right, do you see this icon that pops up? It should be like this blue icon with like a little white video camera in it. Okay, perfect. Hit download. Okay, it's downloading. Perfect. And guys, once they have the Zoom app downloaded on their phone, all they have to do is click join meeting. And let me give you guys a little tip. In your Zoom settings, you're able to create a personal meeting ID. Guess what my personal meeting ID is? My phone number. So I say, all right, you're just going to type in my phone number. Are you ready? 724-288-0673. Click join. And then boom, my face is there and their face is there. And we're on. The most important part, guys, is you walk them through it like you took the time to get them on the phone. If you do not do this, your show ratio will be shit. Your show ratio, if you do this, should be 90%. And here's why it should be 90. Because the people that cannot make the meeting will call you and let you know. They will let you know if something comes up. And they will feel bad that they're missing the meeting. And now, ball's back in your court to reschedule it, and you know they're going to be there because they feel bad about missing it. There's no reason they should not be on the call if they just spent an extra 10 minutes getting on Zoom with you guys. You have to do this every single time. So again, it's going to come down to having a script, a really good script put in place. If you're asking, can we see your guys' script? Yes, we will get it out to gigs for you. We'll send you our script. Now, what if you're like, well, Erica, they're screening phones. They're never answering my calls. You're going to start leaving voicemails. Got this from my girl, Katie Jo Mitchell. I know you on the call. Whoop, whoop. Great job, girl. She was getting like 64 appointments in 2 weeks. I'm like, how the heck are you doing this? She's like, Erica, I started leaving voicemails. I was like, no way. Because we've never done that before. So I said, you know what? Let me create these scripts, these voicemail scripts. Guys, I made 20 calls in an hour. It took me so long to make 20 calls because people were picking up my call as I was leaving the voicemail. They were like, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a telemarketer. But yes, we remember the will. When can we meet with you? I'm like, what? Is this real? People were calling me back. It was the craziest thing ever. So leave voicemails. If you need a voicemail script, guess what? We got you. We'll send you the voicemail script. But you need to start doing it. So biggest piece of advice is call everyone twice in a row. Yes, William Jones, I will share the voicemail script just like I said. I will make sure you get it. All right, so 1, call everybody twice in a row. The first time, if they don't answer, just hang up. Second time you call back, then leave the voicemail. Leave the voicemail because people, like I said, are screening their calls more than ever. If they know what it's about, they're going to call you back. Stalker style. All right. So again, some major takeaways. Separate yourself from a telemarketer. Bring the energy, build the rapport, teach them step by step how to get on Zoom, solidify the appointment, and leave the voicemails. All right, Tim, you want to take it over with
you want to cover last thing, rebuttals real quick on the phone?
Oh yeah, that is one thing. So the major rebuttal you are going to get, literally the one that you will get 90% of the time over all the other rebuttals is, why can't this be mailed to me? All right, I thought I was just going to get this in the mail, whatever it is. You need to be able to flow from script to rebuttal back to script. Excuse me. Well, Joe, A will and living will, they're legal documents that require some expertise to fill out. Our representatives are trained to help you with the process so that no mistakes or misunderstandings occur. And that's why many people require lawyers to do this. So once we go over all this information together, don't worry, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually be able to either send you the will kit PDF or I can mail this directly to you. So anyways, like I was saying, what time do you get home from work again, or are you retired? Do you see what I did? I just answered their question and I followed up with another question. Because what you need to do is when they rebuttal you, spotlight is on you. Answer their question and then turn that spotlight back on them and ask them another question, because psychology in the brain, people can only like focus on one thing at a time. They don't even remember the question they just asked you because now you just asked them another question. We as humans are so programmed just to answer the question that we are being asked. So follow up with a question. So again, why can't you mail it to me? Explain why, how there's going to be misunderstandings and miscommunication. This is a legal binding document. But actually, that's exactly what I am going to do. As soon as we're done with our conversation and I get you all that information, I'm going to either be able to get you that PDF or in the mail. So anyways, like I was saying, what time do you get home from work? Or I can't remember. Did you say you're retired? Oh my God, you're retired? You're living that good life. And you're back in the script. So make sure that you are prepared to get rebutted with why can't they mail it to me? That will be the rebuttal 95% of the time, 100%. So make sure you are prepared for that. If you need a rebuttal script, we got one. We can send it your way, okay?
Please, love it, Erica. I want that script too.
Of course, we'll make sure we send everything out to you guys, so not a problem. Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
So, again, the hardest part about a will kit is going to be setting the appointment. If you noticed, Erica was coming at you talking about 300 miles an hour, and that's the biggest thing is the energy. I saw in here, great energy, love your energy. It's the same thing when you're on the phone, even with the will kits. Maybe you're not talking super fast, but still having that bubbly energy, because that's going to make them like you and trust you, which you guys already know that, but just to reiterate it. So once you get them, set the appointment, you gotta crush the presentation, right? So I truly believe that in any presentation, whether it's a will kit or any presentation, the two most important things is always number one, rapport, and number two, your intro. That's my personal opinion. And the reason why I feel that is because if people don't love you and they don't trust you, they're not going to want to do business with you. And if you don't do a great intro, there's not going to be clear expectations of what's going to happen when you do your presentation. So the will kit intro has a lot of psychology behind it to make sure that you're setting yourself up for the smoothest presentation and for success in making a sale. Again, if you're not muted, guys, please make sure you're muted. Galaxy 7 J7 Crown,
it's not that hard.
whoever that is.
Fucking Pew.
Ooh, there we go. Great. I'll wait till we mute, just because there's that screeching sound. So
You're fucking retarded.
you can hear my, okay. I don't know who the host is. You can mute them automatically. There we go.
You go.
Awesome. So guys, with the intro.
Who is the host, Tim? I don't know who the host is.
We're just running and gunning. So the first thing with the intro is I always, after we're done building rapport, my transition question is, let me ask you this, Mary. What was the reason that you decided to apply online for the will and testament? Now, there's a reason behind that. One, it's a good transition question, obviously, to start it. But also, I found from doing this for over a year now, the main reasons why people apply for the will. Someone in their family has passed away. They have a serious medical issue and their time is limited, or they just wanted to start planning for that day. And the reason that I say that is because if it's number two, if it's the second reason that they have a serious medical issue, I now know to breeze through my presentation. Still going to make sure I get them taken care of and get my referrals and that stuff, but I'm not going to be spending an hour with these people I'm going to breeze on through it because I know that they don't qualify, right? So that's the main reason why you want to ask that question, is one, to get a quick information, because if someone in their family recently passed away, okay, great, I'm going to talk about that later. I'm just going to hold on to that, put that in my pocket, and I'm going to bring that up when we talk about the freedom of choice. If it's because they have a serious medical issue, I know that I'm going to kind of breeze through it and make sure that I can get my referrals and get over and get on to the next one. Neil Rudder, if you could please mute your Zoom, much appreciated. Awesome. So that's after I'm done with rapport. That's like my transition question into my presentation. So Mary, what was the reason that you applied online for the will and testament? Whatever state you're in, I would just do a quick Google search and learn a little bit about what probate is in your state. So I know most states are pretty similar, because that's the next thing. We'll send you guys a script, but the next thing is I make sure that they understand if they don't have a will, that the reason for a will is super important, because if they don't have one, all their assets go into what's called probate court. It's a very lengthy process for their family to settle everything. It's a big legal process, and companies that they owe money to can come and take their stuff. So just do a quick Google search, learn about whatever your laws are in your state, and then that way you can bring that up in the intro as well. So that's my second paragraph, is I just talk about probate real quick. And then the third thing is that I ask them if they ever heard of us before. Now, the most important part to this is whenever I ask them if they've ever heard of us before. So when we were in person, I thought I had a will next to me. There we go. So whenever we were in person, and whenever we go back to in person, is I always make sure I have the will out on the table, but I have it on top of an American Income Life folder. That way, when I say, have you ever heard of us before, I point to the logo, but they're now connecting Free Will Kit and our company. Just a little psychology for you. And still doing virtual, I do exactly what I'm doing with you guys right now. Hey, you ever heard of us before, American Income Life? And you see how they can still see Free Will Kit? All right. Now, we obviously know 95% of them are going to say, they're going to say no. But another reason why we ask this is, one, to link them to the will kit to us, but also to find out, we've had policyholders apply for wills, not knowing that it was maybe linked to us. And now they're like, yeah, I got life insurance for you guys. Boom. Now I know to transition into a policyholder presentation, right? And then whenever they say no, it's just, I figured as much. It's just because since we were founded in 1951, we never advertised as a company. We've actually been contracted through over 20,000 different unions across the country to handle their supplemental life insurance benefits. Because as I'm sure you know, whenever you leave your job, you don't get to take anything with you. So we provided them with permanent and portable benefits that go with them no matter where they go in life. So our union members, they had great life insurance, but they didn't have any wills. So we partnered up with freewillkit.com to make sure that they had wills put in place. And it was such a hit that we decided to open the wills up to the non-union community by putting ads out online to get our name out to the public and help them out as well. So just a little quick intro of who we are, but also it helps connect that will kit with us, American Income, okay? So that's why we created a 3-part program. The first part of the program is the Will and Testament Kit. There's a workbook and an official document book. I'm going to walk through that with you on how to fill it out. The second part of the program is the Family Information Guide. It'll go hand in hand with your will, and it'll be your voice when you're your voice for your family when you're no longer here. And then the third part of the program is that if you qualify, we will walk you through the discounted funeral plans that our union members have been using to protect their families for the last 70 years. And then here is the most important paragraph in the entire intro. So right from that third part, I immediately, no pause, I go straight into this right here. And again, we'll send you the script. I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to talk to you about why it's so important. So again, protect the union families for the last 7 years. And the reason we provide these wills as a no-cost service is that if you know someone that would benefit from our services that do cost money, that you would think of us first to refer them to us. Or at the end of our conversation today, you would benefit from our services that do cost money, that you would take advantage of them today while we're here. Does that sound good, Joe? Mary? Awesome. Let's walk you through the will. So again, it's upfront letting them know. It's being fully transparent on what we're going to do and letting them know that we're going to ask them to enroll into our benefits. But more importantly, that if they can't benefit from it, that we're going to ask them to refer us to people. So again, it just kind of gives that psychology of, okay, there's going to be more to this. Remember, people are always waiting for, what's the catch, right? There is no catch. Here's why we do it. We want to make sure that we can help people out. Basically, our way of advertising is to help. So whether you know someone that would benefit from it or you're going to benefit from it, we're going to help you first, and then you're going to purchase our program, or you're going to refer us to people that can purchase our program. It's again giving that level of comfort. And usually what happens, I would say 80% of the time, people go, okay. The other 20% of the time, they do the same thing, that whether it's a union or anyone else. Oh, I already have something in place. And then I go, okay. And now I just know that I'm going to have to overcome that down the road. But if you notice, I said the discounted funeral plans. I didn't say the third part is life insurance. What I found with the older demographic is that that's like a trigger word for them. It's a trigger word for a lot of people. Like as soon as you say life insurance, like, oh, I'm good, I already got something, right? And they're like, freak out. They shut down. When you say funeral plan, now it's intrigued interest. Remember, these people applied for a will. They want to plan for the day that they're no longer here. A lot of them have either had someone call them, or have been to a funeral, or they had someone try and sell them a prepaid funeral. So they already know what that. So when you say that funeral plan, it piques curiosity rather than when you say life insurance, it shuts them down. All right, so make sure you use that word properly. That discounted funeral plan. And guys, again, if you that intro, if you do it flawless, spotless, it inside, outside, upside down, sideways, backwards, I'm telling you, I can't remember the last time I really got rebuttal from someone doing an intro. So just make sure you got that thing down pat. But more importantly, you got those last two paragraphs. So if you don't say those, and you're going to get rebutted when you get to the life insurance anyways, when you get to talking about the freedom of choice. All right, so I just wanted to make sure you guys, again, we'll send that with all the scripts, of course, to make sure you guys have everything. All right, Erica.
And we're back. Oh, just kidding, I muted myself. All right, now we're really back. All right, so we're gonna go over referrals and how to collect them from a will kit. And then I'll get into pitching. Okay, so don't worry, we will talk about how we pitch. I promise. I already saw some of the things like, what if they have this already? Don't worry, we're gonna get into this. But first I wanna talk about referral collection. Now, before will kits were one of our largest resources that we had, I was really, really big on collecting child safe referrals. However, when I transitioned into will kits, a lot of times you're going to find that older people have a harder time, or they're a little bit more stubborn with giving you referrals. I'm not the only one, I know this. So I had to figure out a way to still get referrals from them, but for it actually to make sense to them. So in the will kit, when you are going through each section, there is, I think it's article number 4. It's the nomination of the personal representative. That's a fancy word of saying their executor. In that section, there's going to be a spot for their primary executor and their secondary executor as well. So if they are married, this is what I say. I say Joe and Mary. I'm assuming you both are probably going to be each other's executor, right? Nodding. Yes, we are. Okay, fantastic. Who's going to be the secondary? Oh, probably our oldest daughter. Okay, fantastic. And I have a little notebook next to me, and I take a little note of just writing oldest daughter. Okay, now I'm gonna get to it, I promise. If they are single, I'm gonna ask them who their primary and their secondary, not beneficiary, who their primary and secondary executor is going to be. And I just get who it's gonna be relationship. My nephew John, my sister Carol, whoever it's gonna be. And I keep it moving. I just want that little nugget of knowledge to use it after I'm done explaining the will kit. So after I'm done explaining the entire will kit, before I move on to the family information guide, I revert back. I say, all right, guys, so you remember how we were talking about who you were going to make your executor? And if they're married, I know you guys already talked about making each other the primary executor. Yeah, you said your oldest daughter was going to be the secondary executor, right? Yes, we did. All right, perfect. What was her name again? Her name is Sarah Smith. Okay, perfect. Sarah Smith. And is she married or is she single? She's married. Okay, fantastic. And then what city and state does she live in? Get the city and state. Okay, and what's her phone number? And if they ask, well, why do you need that? Well, she's going to be your secondary executor. Can you guys imagine if both of you died together and she has no idea how to make sure this will gets processed for you guys? So I'm just going to give her a quick call, later on today to make sure she understands. So what's her phone number again? And I get her phone number. I'm going to do the exact same thing for a secondary executor as well, if they are single. So you want to make sure you get the executors as referrals. You can also get the healthcare surrogate as a referral. And the third referral you can get is people who also need wills. Now, you don't want to just be like, all right, so who do you know that needs a will? Because I'm like, I don't know. Like, can I get back to you? And we know them saying that means they're never going to get back to us. So this is how you need to word it. Now, Joe and Mary, obviously, you know how long it took us just to have this conversation today. I mean, you applied for this will 3 weeks ago. The influx of people applying for wills right now is through the roof with everything going on in the world. So the freewillkit.com is actually asking for your help right now, and they're actually allowing you to sponsor up to 5 of your closest friends and family members to not only receive this will for free, but we're gonna bump them up to the top of the list. So do me a favor and grab your phone. Who's the first person you wanna list? Okay. So it works, but it's how you say it. It's how you say it. You have to make sure that you're building urgency and you're building the value of why they should be thinking of other people to get this will as well. It's not just, oh, who do you know? What's the value in that? Making it like just really being like, there's so many people applying for these right now with everything going on in the world. And you know how long it took us to get out to you? And the influx of people applying is crazy right now with everything going on in the world. So they're actually allowing you to sponsor up to 5 of your closest friends and families to not only get this will for free, but I'm now able to bump them up to the top of the list for you. So do me a favor and grab your phone. Who do you want to start with? And you get the referral. These are the easiest referrals that I have found to collect from a will kit. Yes, you can still collect child safe. Yes, you can still get their beneficiaries once you sell them the policy. But these are by far the easiest referrals to collect, 100%. So again, you're going to want to focus on the executors. You're going to want to focus on the healthcare surrogate, and you're going to also want to focus on just will kit referrals after you do the will kit. Okay, that's really all I wanted to talk about with referrals. All right, let's talk about pitching funeral plans. Pitching funeral plans. Obviously, we know in our script, you know, especially with the unions, the first concern that the union members are having are getting their final expenses protected, right? So, you know, we're going to word it the exact same way. You know, the first concern, a lot of these people applying for the wills, their major concern is their final expenses and their funeral plans. So I make it a conversation with them. I ask them, Joe and Mary, have you ever had to deal with the loss of a loved one or the burden of a death claim? They're older guys. Yes, they have lost somebody in their life. Absolutely. If they're in their 60s, God bless them if their parents are still around. So they've experienced funerals, they've experienced death, they have experienced loss, and most likely they've experienced it recently if they're getting a will now. So you need to make it a conversation. If they say yes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. If you don't mind me asking, who was it that passed? They might say it was my mother, or I recently buried my sister, you know, or whatever it was. I'm like, I'm so sorry. You know, how long did they pass? Like, how long ago was it? Oh, it was like 3 years ago. And I'll be like, now, did you just attend the funeral or were you actually a part of the arrangements? Oh, I attended, you know, my brother was the one that handled it, or actually, yes, I was the one that was helping, you know, pick out the casket and things like that. So I'm going to ask them, do you remember how much the funeral cost? And they will. They'll be like, yeah, it was between 6,000 and 8,000, or 8 to 10,000, depending on how many years ago it was. And you're going to use that to now show inflation, right? If it was 5 years ago and it was only $8,000, then I'm going to ask them, do you guys happen to know how much the average funeral costs nowadays? And get them to answer you. Don't let them just say, oh, I'm not sure. If you had to take a guess, what would you guess? And here's the thing. You can talk about funerals, but you can also talk about cremations too. Because guys, in the needs analysis, you're finding out whether they want to get cremated or buried or not. So use what you find out to put in that conversation. That way now it's a direct conversation. So what you're going to do is you're going to shift it to what happens over time. Things are going up in price, right? And if we don't have something to take care of these final expenses, who are we leaving that burden on now? Their children, their grandchildren. Right? We build a lifetime of memories with our family. The last one we don't want to leave them with is $20,000 in debt, right? So we just created a problem. Guess what our solution is? Freedom of choice certificate. Okay? I don't care about those prepaid funerals, because let me tell you, if they're in California when they die and they got a prepaid funeral in Pennsylvania, guess who's paying for that body to get up to Pennsylvania? Use this. Sell the heck out of this. We just built the need. This is what you're selling. You are not a salesperson until this point. You're building the value, then you're selling this on why it's different, why it's incredible, why we're going to have a 3 to 5 day payout, and it doesn't matter where they die, because this is the freedom of choice. They can choose any funeral home, any crematory in the entire country, and this payout will be in 3 to 5 days. That's what you're selling the value on. Build this up like a crazy person. Like, I don't care if you spend 10 minutes on it. You can ask anybody on my team. I go in on this thing because I know the value that this will have. So you have to walk them through how easy it's going to be for their beneficiary, how simple it's going to be for their beneficiary. Because I don't care if they have another life insurance policy or not. That policy might take 6 weeks for them to get. Now, if it's going to take 6 weeks for them to get, who's coming out of pocket for that funeral? The family still is, and they're waiting for that reimbursement. With this, there's no waiting. They're getting that money in 3 to 5 days. So you need to make sure you separate us from everything else. It doesn't matter what they already have. Last week, I had a will kit guy that literally told me on the phone he didn't want life insurance. And then when I got him on and I was explaining this, he said, oh, can you show me some quotes? Yeah, like this sounds good. Like immediately a flip. 1,600 ALP, the guy that told me he was not interested in any more insurance. And was like, yeah, let's do gold. All right, perfect. Let's get you qualified. But here's the thing. You want to make sure you set it up properly. Make sure you're pitching based on their wants and their needs. Cremation versus funeral. You don't need to pitch $30,000 if they want to get cremated. That's not what it costs. So pitch to their needs. How we do it on our team, I don't know how you guys do it, but what we do is a gold, silver, basic option. So gold is obviously going to be the most expensive. Silver is where most of the members enroll in. Basic is going to make sure they at least have something for now and they can get more later if their health allows. But here's the trick that I have found, and I am going to share this little tidbit of information with all of you. And if you use it, it will work. What I have found with these will kits is that a lot of times they're going to hit you with, I want to think about it. A lot. So this is what I have come up with. So I use a Word document to put my gold, silver, basic on, and then I share my screen and just show the gold, silver, basic options with them. But what they don't know is that I have actually created a foot in the door program about 5 enters down that they cannot see yet. So when they hit me with, I want to think about it, I tell them, I totally understand. That's what a lot of people are saying right now. But if you were to choose a program, which program would you guys have gone with? Well, we like silver. Okay. And why do you like silver? Tell me about it. Well, just like you said, a lot of people are getting enrolled and, it makes sense, like everything's like financially, like it's good, but like right now, like we just don't know if it can put in our budget. Boom. Now you know why they want to think about it. The first why is always a lie. So you got to discover what the real reason is. This person now just told me they don't know if they can fit $175 into their budget right now. And I said, you know what, guys? I already knew you were going to tell me that. But here's the thing. I wanted to show you these programs because, the unions we work with, everybody that we work with, this is where you technically should be. This is where they want you to be when you have that whole package. But why don't we do this instead? And I scrolled down my laptop and I showed them the foot in the door program. And I say, what a lot of people are doing right now in your situation is they're actually getting started off with a foot in the door program because having something permanent is better than nothing. And I'm sure you can agree that $35 a month is a heck of a lot better than $175 a month, right? Right. So why don't we get you qualified for that today? And you're in. You will be in that application. You're gonna be like, oh, wow, yeah, that does sound a lot better. Okay. And can we always add on more to this later? Yes, of course, as long as your health allows. Absolutely. So let's get you taken care of today. And you're right into those medical questions. It will work every time. Yeah, I can probably type something up, Anna. I could probably type something up. This is just back here in the brain. All right, so again, use the funeral plan. Build up the value with the freedom of choice certificate. Separate everything else from us. Build up this value. And then again, show them the 3 programs and create a foot in the door program. Because now it just shows them that you care, that you thought enough about them, that you already knew they were going to say that. And you scroll down and you have this other program that they didn't even know was there. And you explain why we're going to get this started and we'll eventually get you up to this part. Because that's where we know we want to be. So let's at least get you taken care of now. And you qualify them. And that's pretty much all I got. Tim?
Yeah, awesome. I had some things that I wrote down that I we forgot to bring up. Guys, just in phone calls too. Think about your union leads. Or they get a letter in the mail and they fill out the card. So it's literally impossible for us to have gotten their information without them filling out the card and sending it back in, right? It's the same thing with the will kits. Just in case you didn't know, the guy that owns Free Will Kit, he actually told me they have a 2-step confirmation after they apply for it. So what happens is once they press apply on the ad and they fill out all their information, they press apply, there's a confirmation page that pops up. And the first thing that it says on the page is that a representative from American Income Life is going to contact them. It's the first thing on the confirmation page. And they get a confirmation email that says the same thing that the confirmation page is. So you can rest assured that they know what's going on. is
You
what I'm
know,
getting at.
Tim and Erica, I pray that all of you are picking up on the incredible psychology by which Erica and Tim are sharing how they're getting this done. She's #1 SA in the entire world. There's a reason. And every one of us on this call needs to own how she thinks and what she does. And this is going to be available for you guys to look at again and again. Today, you're just getting exposed. That's all you're getting, exposure. You haven't learned jack shit yet. You're just getting exposed to it. You're going to have to go do what Erica is telling you to do. You got to grow. In Italian, you know what I'm talking. You got to grow in this way, and you got to do what she's teaching. A lot of psychology that her and Tim are sharing here. I hope you guys appreciate what you're hearing today, because this is unbelievable what I'm hearing, guys. I can't thank you enough. Really, Tim, thank you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. So, and then the other thing, because I was trying to like keep up with people maybe putting in questions and stuff like that. I saw someone, I think he goes by the mayor, had mentioned that Costco sells caskets for $1,000, and that's good and all. Just if that's working for you, great. I would avoid that because you're shooting yourself in the foot on why they need our program. So maybe if it's working for you, cool, keep rocking with it. But personally, I wouldn't tell them where they can get a better deal because I want them to buy from me. So maybe just kind of keep that. I want them to understand how expensive. Like I want to hammer home that it's 14 grand for a funeral. That's why you need this freedom of choice, right? So don't ever discount.
I don't know
what we
anybody,
do.
Tim, who's going to Costco for their funeral, but I don't know anybody. Costco? Come
Apparently.
on.
Yeah,
Come
I saw
on.
that. But never discredit or discount what we do by telling them where they can do something else. You know what I'm saying? So maybe just keep that in mind. I just wanted to talk about that. But yeah, guys, I mean, hopefully we were able to help out. You guys can go back and watch the recording all over again. And you know, the biggest thing is what Giggs just said is it's all now. You got the information. Now you just got to do it. That's all we did is someone gave us a basic script and we're like, okay, let's use it. Oh, okay, that didn't work. So we tweaked it. Okay, that still didn't work. We tweaked it again, and eventually we got to the point where we're at now. So that's the same thing with you, is you're gonna be able to figure out how to overcome all the challenges. Because if I gave you every scenario, we'd be here till midnight. You know, so just know that these are the main things that you're gonna come across, and just take action and then do what you do best. You know, make sales. You guys are an incredible agency. So
Tim and Erica, real quick before we let you go. I know that you said you're going to be sending us these scripts. You know, I come from four decades of, I follow scripts, man. I do what other successful people do, and then I make it my own. So should we follow up with Natalie on that or yes? Okay. So Natalie will have these scripts, Erica, you and Tim?
Yep, we can absolutely do that for you. We can definitely get everything over to you guys. And then I know there was a couple things like referrals and closing and things like that I don't have typed out. So after I'm done with training class today, I can definitely help you guys out and create scripts.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm just going to give you guys a little funny to end us off. I've titled myself Script Jesus. So all of these things, you know, are just on my laptop and up here that I put on paper. So I've titled myself Script Jesus. So, you know.
I can't thank you enough, Erica and Tim. I really can't. We are indebted to you. Whatever you need from us, ever, no matter what it is, David and I are here for you guys as well. We are one family, this great company. We are one family. And thank you so much for taking the time to share this with us exclusively. Thank you so much. Thank you.